By the 17th century, the Pilgrims left Europe for fear of persecution for simply wanting to freely practice their religion and lifestyle as they saw fit. And by the mid-19th century, they had succeeded in fucking over the Native Americans in every conceivable way, and even found time for a little DIY project that would end up becoming their flag. By 1870, an era of glitz and glamour arose where the streets were covered with gold and corruption, and this era would be coined as the Gilded Age. The Gilded Age ran from the year 1870 to 1900. It was an era marked by rapid industrialization, wealth concentration, and significant social and economic inequality. The Gilded Age was a period of rapid innovation and industrial growth, with key technological breakthroughs such as railroads, steel, oil, and electricity. New technologies transformed industries and created new markets. The divide between the rich and the poor widened as technological advancements primarily benefited the owners of capital. Business tycoons became extraordinarily wealthy, earning the nickname robber barons. John D. Rockefeller and his associates founded the Standard Oil Company in 1870, which became a national monopoly on the oil industry in the United States for nearly 20 years. Rockefeller was worth $1.4 billion when he died in 1937, equivalent to about $24 billion in 2018. Jeff Bezos scoffs. Andrew Carnegie's steel company, now known as U.S. Steel, was a notable monopoly in the United States. The company had a singular control over the supply of steel, which graciously allowed them to always keep the prices so effing high. The Vanderbilts built their wealth on railroads, shipping, and real estate. Cornelius Vanderbilt, damn, he sounded rich before he became rich. Cornelius was an early investor in railroads and water transportation. The Vanderbilts eventually controlled a huge empire of railway routes and shipping. At their peak, the Vanderbilts owned over $200 million, which is equivalent to $5 billion today. Again, Jeff Bezos scoffs. Jeff Bezos is another modern-day money-hungry hippo, and the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, and 17 states are currently suing Amazon, Jeff's baby, for allegedly maintaining a monopoly and using anti-competitive practices to stifle competition. They are accused of punishing third-party sellers that offer lower prices on other sites. They are accused of favoring its own retail business over third-party sellers. They are accused of using unfair strategies to push up prices. They are accused of degrading quality for shoppers. They are accused of overcharging sellers. And they are accused of stifling innovation.
Sensational.
Technological progress led to wealth accumulation for a small elite during the Gilded Age, while most workers saw little improvements in their living standards. Factory and railroad workers endured long hours, low wages, and dangerous conditions. There were few labor laws, leaving workers vulnerable to exploitation. Poor salaries that could not afford anything were the norm, with employers striving for the cheapest available workforce, regardless of that salary being able to adequately provide for a family. Miners and steel plant workers were just some of the people that made up the backbone of the economy during the Gilded Age, working 12-hour shifts, and some of these workers were children. And I don't mean Gen Z and millennials making #adulting TikToks. I mean the workers were literal children, working 12-hour shifts with little to no breaks, getting serious respiratory and other afflictions from working in horrible work conditions, and working long horrible hours. Nowadays, billionaires have been gaining true unprecedented fortunes, while many workers face stagnant wages and rising living costs. Technological advances have replaced good paying jobs with thousands of low paying jobs and gigs, which demand the most from its workers but provide neither healthy workload, nor healthy work hours, nor healthy work conditions in return. Companies like Uber and DoorDash have created new gig economy opportunities, but often lack fair wages, benefits, or even job security for workers. Many jobs are being replaced by machines and some even AI, leaving workers in precarious positions. Amazon workers most recently went on strike during the 2024 holiday season. The workers say that Amazon is breaking the law by refusing to bargain. A U.S. Senate report alleged that Amazon's warehouses are uniquely dangerous. The most recent Amazon strike, which was part of a global Make Amazon Pay campaign, began just days before Christmas. The strike was strategically designed to disrupt operations. The Amazon workforce is pushing for official union recognition and discussions regarding higher wages as well as improved benefits and working conditions. Starbucks Workers United, which represents baristas at 525 locations, launched a strike as well. The Starbucks baristas are advocating for enhanced compensation, increased staffing levels, and more accommodating work schedules. The union is specifically demanding a substantial wage hike. Workers argue that the company's offer of a 1.5 annual raise is simply inadequate and fails to keep up with inflation. Wait, you're not even giving them an inflation raise? Jesus. Anyway, the strike was strategically timed during what is traditionally one of the busiest periods for the coffee giant. Also, a lot of companies laid off thousands of people in 2024 alone, all claiming that they did so in the name of restructuring and being more efficient. And allegedly, the employees who aren't fired are tasked with doing two, sometimes even three people's jobs, all for the same insulting salary. Amazon, Meta, Cisco, Microsoft, Intel, Google, Boeing, UPS are just some of the companies to mention. Another horrible similarity between the Gilded Age and the current era we're living in is both of their very inhumane approach to unionizing. Workers suspected of union activity in the Gilded Age were blacklisted. They were added to lists shared among employers, making it difficult for them to find work. Nowadays, companies monitor employee communications and activities to identify and suppress organizing efforts through surveillance. Companies conduct sometimes mandatory anti-union meetings, do campaigns, distribute flyers, and create videos warning employees about the risks of unionization, making sure to inspire fear by telling them that they could lose their jobs if they unionize. In the Gilded Age, employers fired union organizers to prevent organizing efforts from gaining traction. Modern employers have been accused of firing workers involved in unionization efforts. For example, Amazon and Starbucks. Employers in the Gilded Age hired replacement workers to continue operations during strikes, often leading to violent clashes. During a violent strike at its Homestead plant in 1892, Carnegie Steel hired replacement workers and brought in Pinkerton agents to protect them. The conflict escalated into armed clashes, highlighting tensions between labor and industrialists in the Gilded Age. Employers use substitute labor and force to undermine strikes and weaken union influence. Companies hire temporary or contract workers to bypass striking employees. Law enforcement till this day is sometimes used to break up picket lines or remove striking workers. Amazon as another example. Again, employers made deliberate attempts to sway public opinion and workers' sentiment against unions in the Gilded Age. Employers used newspapers to portray unions as radical, un-American, or violent. painting strikes as threats to public order. Union leaders were often labeled as anarchists or socialists to discredit their movements. In our current economy, the media's way of reporting strikes, unfortunately, often don't try to sympathize with the employees fighting for better pay, better work hours, and better benefits. During Amazon's Workers' Holiday 2024 strike, media outlets frequently emphasized the potential disruptions to holiday shopping, rather than focusing on the working conditions or pay disparities that led to the strike. Frame the story as a consumer inconvenience, rather than a labor rights issue. In the Gilded Age, employers went as far as locking workers out of facilities to prevent them from organizing or striking. Pay reductions were used as punishment for union activity or to deter future organizing. In today's economy, some employers have reduced benefits for unionized workers as a tactic to discourage union membership. Starbucks went as far as allegedly omitting unionized workers from benefit increases. The close ties between business elites and politicians during the Gilded Age created an environment ripe for political influence. In the Gilded Age, business tycoons yielded immense influence over politicians, leading to corruption, favorable legislation, and lenient enforcement of regulations. I am on a roll with this rhyming. Robber barons like John D. Rockefeller and Cornelius Vanderbilt yielded enormous influence over government decisions. Campaign contributions were often secretive, with wealthy industrialists funding candidates to secure favorable policies. In America, Elon Musk donated approximately $277 million to support Donald Trump's 2024 presidential campaign and other Republican candidates. A significant portion of Elon's contributions were directed through America PAC, an organization he established to mobilize voters for Trump. In the last 2 weeks of October 2024 alone, Elon donated $75 million to this PAC. Politicians in the Gilded Age often acted in the interests of their wealthy donors, neglecting the needs of the working class and poor. Political parties rewarded loyal supporters with government jobs, contracts, and other favors, regardless of qualification or merit. Currently, as of November 2024, President-elect Donald Trump appointed Elon Musk to co-chair the newly established Department of Government Efficiency. The department's initiatives include automating routine administrative tasks, integrating AI-driven decision-making processes, and enhancing digital infrastructure across federal agencies. Okay. Anyway, that was basically my video. If you feel bad, don't be sad, because I have no hope for the future too. Lol. Anyway, I will not tell you to like, subscribe, or comment, but if the spirit moves you, or if my witchcraft just happens to work, I hope to see you again. Bye!